Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajacharya Stotra Sadashi Srimad Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotra Sadashi Srimad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Hardas Thakur Ki Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Ganga Mai Ki Yamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulsi Maharani Ki Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So today we're reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is. You all familiar with the Bhagavad Gita? Yeah? Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. And today we're reading from the 18th chapter called the conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. And today we're reading from text 71. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the Sanskrit is up here on the board. I'll read one line and then can repeat after me, line by line. Shraddhavan anasuyascha Shrunuyadapi yo naraha Sopi muktaha subhalokan Prapnuyat punyakarmanam Shraddhavan anasuyascha Shrunuyadapi yo naraha Sopi muktaha shubhalokan Prapnuyat punyakarmanam. Would anybody like to try? Shraddhavan anasuyascha Shrunuyadapi yo naraha Sopi mukta shubhalokan Prapnuyat punyakarmanam. Shraddhavan anasuyascha Shrunuyadapi yo naraha Vimukta subhalokan Prapnuyat punyakarmanam. Say? Okay, thank you. We'll do the word for word then. Shraddhavan, the faithful. Anasuya, not envious. Cha, and. Shrunuyat, does hear. Api, certainly. Ya, who? Naraha, a man. Sa, he, api, also, mukta, being liberated, shubhan, the auspicious, lokan, planets, prapnuyat, he attains, punyakarmanam, of the pious. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. Purport. In the 67th verse of this chapter, the Lord explicitly forbade the Gita's being spoken to those who are envious of the Lord. In other words, Bhagavad Gita is for the devotees only. But it so happens that sometimes a devotee of the Lord will hold open class. And in that class, not all the students are expected to be devotees. Why do such persons hold open class? It is explained here that although not everyone is a devotee, still there are many men who are not envious of Krishna. They have faith in him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If such persons hear from a bona fide devotee about the Lord, the result is that they become at once free from all sinful reactions, and after that attain to the planetary system where all righteous persons are situated. Therefore, simply by hearing Bhagavad Gita, even a person who does not try to be a pure devotee attains the result of righteous activities. Thus, a pure devotee of the Lord gives everyone a chance to become free from all sinful reactions and to become a devotee of the Lord. Generally, those who are free from sinful reactions, those who are righteous, very easily take to Krishna consciousness. The word punyakarmanam is very significant here. This refers to the performance of great sacrifices, like the Ashwamedha Yagya, mentioned in the Vedic literature. Those who are righteous in performing devotional service, but who are not pure, can attain the planetary system of the pole star, or Dhruvaloka, where Dhruva Maharaj is presiding. He is a great devotee of the Lord, and he has a special planet, which is called the pole star. So before beginning to speak, I'd like to offer some prayers to our spiritual masters from whom we have received this knowledge. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmat Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Vandeham Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And before beginning to speak, I'd like to seek your blessing so that I can say something which will be pleasing to the Lord and beneficial for all of you. Vanchakopa Drubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So thank you to all for coming today. I'll read the verse once again. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. So in this verse, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna, and he's telling him the benefit of hearing the Bhagavad Gita. But he says there are two qualities which we should have so that we can get proper benefit from hearing the Bhagavad Gita, and that is that we should listen with faith and without envy to Krishna. So I'll try to speak a little bit about faith and envy. So In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 3rd canto actually, it's nicely explained about devotional service in the modes of nature. And there it talks about how devotional service in the mode of ignorance is actually performed with envy. So I'll read a little bit about how Lord Kapila this section of the Bhagavatam is where Lord Kapila he speaks to Devahuti, the process of devotional service. And here he's explaining how in the beginning, the devotional service, it can be performed in different modes of nature. So I'll just read this a little bit here. It's nice how Lord Kapila explains it. So it says, devotional service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent, and angry, and who is a separatist, is considered to be in the mode of darkness. And then, the worship of deities in the temple by a separatist with a motive for material enjoyment, fame, and opulence is devotion in the mode of passion. So higher than the mode of ignorance is the mode of passion, but then higher than that is the mode of goodness. When a devotee worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offers the results of his activities in order to free himself from the inebrieties of fruitive activities, his devotion is in the mode of goodness. So here we can see how in the beginning devotional service is conducted under the modes of material nature. And in the mode of ignorance, it's done with envy, with pride, with violence and anger. So, the process of devotional service, it purifies us, but in the beginning, we're still under the modes of nature. So we shouldn't become discouraged if we see, like some devotees, they're trying to perform devotional service, but still they have these qualities in them. We have to understand that with time, all of these qualities will become purified. And the perfectional stage of devotional service is here described also by Lord Kapila Dev. It says, the manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited when one's mind is at once attracted to hearing the transcendental name and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is residing in everyone's heart. Just as the water of the Ganges flows naturally down towards the ocean, such devotional ecstasy, uninterrupted by any material condition, flows towards the Supreme Lord. So here it's saying that when devotional service is pure, then we feel a natural attraction to Krishna. And then we perform devotional service just out of a love for Krishna. And when we hear about the glories of Krishna, when we hear the Lord's holy name, then we feel a natural attraction to it. So how can we get to this stage of loving devotional service to Krishna, being attracted to hearing about his name and his form and his qualities? In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a nice verse that explains this. It goes, Shushusho Shadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syanmahat Sevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishevanat. That by serving the devotees of the Lord, great service is done. That by such service, one gets affinity for hearing the messages of Lord Krishna. So when we serve the devotees, the result is that we develop an attraction to hearing about Krishna. And then by hearing about Krishna, then all of these impurities in our heart, the envy and whatever else is troubling our heart, that all becomes cleaned from our heart. And this is explained in the following verse. It says, Nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatir tamashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. That by regular attendance in classes on the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to our heart is almost completely removed, and then loving devotional service to the Lord is established within the heart as an irrevocable fact. And when devotional service is established in our heart, then we become fully happy. That's explained in the next verse. Tadarajastamo bhava kamalobhadayaschaye ete chetara anavidam stitam sattve prasidati. Prasidati means becomes fully happy. When all these effects of the lower modes of nature, such as lust, envy, and hankering, all of these are cleared off from the heart. And when loving devotional service, the feeling for attraction for Krishna develops, then we perform devotional service out of love for Krishna. And that pure devotional service, it actually gives us that full satisfaction and happiness that we're all anxious for. So this is the wonderful process of devotional service to Lord Krishna. Devotional service to Krishna is so special because Krishna is such a special person. So when we perform service to him, then he becomes so grateful. And he rewards us with everything, with the greatest happiness, and with he fulfills all our desires, and he gives us the greatest thing, even greater than what we could desire, which is his own association in his transcendental abode, which is even beyond our imagination. So the glories of devotional service is that we attain the association of Krishna, who is the most wonderful person. In this world, we're all hankering after relationships with nice people. But mostly the people have faults because they're under the influence of the modes of nature. And then they have these undesirable qualities. But even if we do find a really nice relationship, it has to end at death. So if we actually want the most enjoyable relationship that can last forever, then we should try to develop a relationship with Krishna. And that'll give us eternal happiness. So I just spoke a little bit about envy and how by practicing devotional service, by serving the devotees, then we become attracted to hearing about Krishna's name and qualities, and by regularly hearing about Krishna and by associating with his devotees, then we can get free from qualities like envy. On the other hand, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that one who has envy to Krishna, then he can never achieve any success in his life. It said that one who out of envy disregards these teachings from the Bhagavad Gita, he is ruined in his endeavors for perfection. So we should endeavor to give up this quality of envy by practicing devotional service. There's also a pastime in the Chaitanya Charitamrita of one devotee. His name was Gopal Chapal, and he was envious of Srivas Thakur, who was a great devotee. And because Srivas Thakur was a very beloved devotee of Lord Chaitanya, and every day Lord Chaitanya would have kirtans in his house. But at that time, Lord Chaitanya, he wanted to have kirtan just with his close devotees. So they would go to Srivas Thakur's house and they would close the doors so no outsiders could come in. And this Gopal Chapal, he became envious that he wanted to go, but he wasn't allowed. So then he put some paraphernalia outside of Srivas Thakur's door that is paraphernalia that's used for worshipping Durga. So it's like wine and flesh and all of these dirty things. And then he thought that everybody would come and see all these things outside Srivas Thakur's door and think that he's a worshipper of Durga, and then they would not like him. So he did this to Srivas Thakur, but the devotees, they knew Srivas Thakur was a great devotee, and so they became angry. They're like, who did this? And then Srivas Thakur, he's so sweet and humble. He called everybody. He's like, just see, look, I'm a worshipper of Durga. And the devotees are just like, no, what is this? And they called somebody to sweep it away. But but Lord Chaitanya, he knows everything. And so he was very upset with this devotee, with this person, Gopal Chapal. He tried to put down his devotee, Srivas Thakur. So after a few days, this Gopal Chapal, he became inflicted with leprosy. Leprosy, yeah, a skin disease. And all of his skin had these boils with pus, and he was suffering great pain. So then, he realized his mistake. So then he went to Lord Chaitanya to beg for forgiveness. But Lord Chaitanya said, no, first you need to go to Srivas Thakur and ask him for forgiveness. So then he went to Srivas Thakur and he asked for forgiveness. And then Srivas Thakur, of course, he's very merciful. So he forgave him. And then that's how he attained the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya actually, he after begging forgiveness from Srivas Thakur, then he went to Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya embraced him, and all of his wounds on his skin, they all went away, and then he became a devotee of Krishna. So here we can see how, if we're envious, then it puts us into great trouble. We lose the mercy of the Lord, actually. But if we're sincere and we take shelter of the devotees of the Lord, then we can get the mercy of the Lord and we can become free from this quality of envy. So then the next quality here that Krishna mentions is faith, that one should listen to the Bhagavad Gita with faith. So now I want to ask you, how do you think we can get faith? Does anybody want to answer? By hearing, yeah. Association, good. And practicing devotional service, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's also what I came up with. And in the Bhagavatam, in the first canto, second chapter, 10th verse, it explains that just by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, we develop faith in Krishna. Because in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many stories of the devotees, how by practicing devotional service, they attained perfection. So then by reading about how these devotees, they attain perfection, by following the process, then we also get faith in this process. Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda ki jai, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. So then we get faith that if we follow this process, then we'll also get the perfection that all of these people attained. And so by reading these stories, like in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a nice story of Narada Muni, how he attained perfection by hearing from the devotees, by serving them and hearing from them. Then he also became attached to Krishna, and he attained a spiritual body by which he can travel freely all over the universe, and he's always blissfully chanting the holy names of the Lord. He's completely free to do whatever he wants, travel anywhere he wants. So he's got a blissful life. And also Devahuti, like I read for you from the section of Kapilade, where Kapilade was instructing his mother Devahuti about devotional service. So there, it's really nice to read all these instructions on devotional service. And then to see how his mother, how she practiced them, and then she also attained the perfectional stage of love for Krishna, and she went back to Godhead. So by reading all these pastimes, we can also get faith that if I also do this, then I can also attain the perfection. So that's one way to get faith. And then, especially in the association of devotees, as you mentioned, hearing in the association of devotees. There's a nice verse from the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam 3:25. It goes, Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana kata tajjoshanada shapavarga vatmani shradharatir bhaktir anukramishyati. That hearing about the pastimes and activities of the Lord and the association of pure devotees is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. And by such hearing and the association of devotees, one's attachment becomes fixed, and one gradually becomes one gets faith in the process. it gets Shraddha, Ratir, and Bhakti. So by this process, one gets faith, one becomes attached to the process of devotional service to Krishna, and Ratir and Bhakti, and he develops love for Krishna. So by associating with devotees and hearing from them about Krishna, then we increase our faith, attachment, and love for Krishna. So this is the process of hearing. It's this gives us faith, and finally. So let me see what else you said here. Oh yeah, by practicing devotional service. That's what you mentioned. Yeah. So by practicing devotional service, also we get faith, because the wonderful thing about devotional service is that you can experience the results yourself. Once you start practicing, you start feeling the effect on your consciousness. You feel like you're getting some reciprocation from Krishna. And then you start to get faith that Krishna is actually a person, that he's actually reciprocating with me, and this process of devotional service works. Because, I'm feeling so much happiness. I'm feeling like, Krishna's reciprocating with me. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.2, it says, Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamutamam Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartamavyayam. That this knowledge is the king of education. And it is a perfection of religion because it gives direct direct perception of the self by realization. That once we start to practice devotional service, then we can experience the results directly. So by performing devotional service, we can realize its power, and the effects also of devotional service are described in the Bhagavatam, that Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayatya Shivairagram Jnanam Chayadhaitakam. That by performing devotional service, one develops knowledge and detachment from the world. So by performing devotional service, we can realize that we're becoming more detached from material life, and we can see this in the lives of devotees. That in the beginning, when people come to Krishna consciousness, when they take to devotional service, they're still attached to different things. Like some of them, maybe they're still attached to smoking or to going to restaurants or things like this. But gradually, by performing devotional service, then they become attached to devotional service, and they realize that there's no need to go to the restaurant. Then they lose attachment for all such activities which are not related to Krishna, which are not favorable for Krishna consciousness. So this is the effect of devotional service. And it's something that happens naturally in the heart. It's not something that's forced. So we can see the effect of devotional service in purifying our heart from these contaminations. And we get knowledge. This is also another thing, wonderful thing that happens by performing devotional service, because devotional service, when we do devotional service, then we please Krishna. And then Krishna, from within our heart, he reveals himself, he reveals knowledge about him. So many devotees, they say that when they first read the books, they couldn't understand anything. Like when they got their first book, they couldn't understand it. But after some years of practicing devotional service, then they could understand everything. So this is also a process of devotional service. And so then by doing devotional service, then we get faith, because we can see actually the effects of devotional service, that it's working. So once we see that this process is effective, then we get great faith in it. So another point I'd like to bring out here is that Srila Prabhupada mentions here in the purport that in the previous verse, Sri Krishna was saying that the Bhagavad Gita should only be spoken to the devotees. But sometimes we see that the devotees hold open class, like now. I'm giving class and anybody can listen. So then Prabhupada's saying, why do we do this? So he's explaining that there are many people who are not envious of Krishna, even though they may not be devotees of Krishna, still they're not envious. and they're open to listen. So from this we can see Srila Prabhupada's mood, that he's very merciful to everyone, and he wants to give everyone a chance to hear about Krishna, because here it says that anybody who listens, he becomes free from sinful reactions, and he attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. So by hearing about Krishna, we get great pious benefit, and we actually become saved from going to hell, and we advance on the path towards liberation, towards Krishna consciousness. And the more we hear about Krishna, then we start to awaken our attraction for him, and our spiritual life begins. So Srila Prabhupada wanted to give everyone a chance to hear about Krishna, and this shows his merciful mood. And actually, this is the nature of a devotee. And when Krishna himself, he appeared as a devotee, as Lord Chaitanya, along with Lord Nityananda, this was his mood also, of giving mercy to everyone without any discrimination. There's a nice song about Lord Nityananda. It goes, Akroda Paramananda Nityananda Roy, Abhimana Shunya Nitai Nagare Vedai. That Lord Nityananda, he would go around all around the town, and then Akroda, without any anger and with all humility, he would go around, and what would he do? Adhama patita jive dware dware giya, sei hari nama mantra dana velaiya. He would go to the door to door, dware dware giya. So he would go door to door, and on whose doors would he knock? Any door. It says Adama Patita Jiva, of the very most fallen and sinful living entities. Even of those people, he would knock on their door, and he would ask them to take to the chanting of the holy names. And it says, Yare dekhe tare kahe dante trina dhari, amare kine aloho bhaja gaura hari. So Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, he would say to whoever he met that, please just worship Lord Chaitanya. And he was so humble that he would take a straw in his teeth and just beg them to please chant, to please worship Lord Chaitanya. And he said, whoever worships Lord Chaitanya purchases me. So this was Lord Nityananda's merciful mood, that he would approach everyone, even the most fallen, and request them to worship Lord Chaitanya. So this is Srila Prabhupada's mood. He took up the merciful mood of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, who are the incarnations of Krishna for this age of Kali. Because in this age, everyone is full of these qualities. If you wait to find somebody who is devoted, who is faithful, who has no envy, then we will have a very limited audience to preach to. So Krishna, understanding this, the age of Kali, then he decided that we can't put so many restrictions. We have to distribute this mercy to everyone without consideration. Otherwise, we'll find no one qualified to receive this knowledge. So then Lord Krishna appeared as Lord Chaitanya, along with Lord Nityananda, and he instructed Lord Nityananda to preach to everyone on Lord Chaitanya's order. Lord Nityananda, he specially preached this message to everyone. And there's a nice pastime with Srila Prabhupada that one devotee, he was doing some things that were which were not correct, and then the devotees, they sent him away, I think he went away himself. He left the devotees, and he had gone back to his materialistic life, breaking the 4 regulative principles and doing sinful things. But then he came back to Srila Prabhupada, and then the devotees were like, no, Srila Prabhupada, he did so many bad things, don't take him back. But then Srila Prabhupada said, no, you don't understand the extent of Lord Nityananda's mercy. So Srila Prabhupada, he was in the mood of Lord Nityananda, trying to deliver all the fallen souls. So he said that, Lord Nityananda is so merciful that he delivered Jagai and Madai. Jagai and Madai were the most sinful people. So nobody is too sinful for Lord Nityananda. All we need to do is just take shelter of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya and surrender to them. And their bona fide representative for this age is Srila Prabhupada. So by following Srila Prabhupada's instructions, then we can attain to the perfectional stage, even though we might not be qualified in the beginning. By their mercy, by following the process, then we become qualified to understand this knowledge and receive its benefits. So at this point, I'd like to ask if there are any questions, any comments, anything I'd like to share. Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you for asking that question. That's a nice one. Actually, there are some considerations that are to be made because in the Bhagavatam there's a nice verse. It describes a Madhyamadikari. There are three kinds of devotees: the Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttama. So the Kanishta Adhikari, he's just attracted to worshipping the deity in the temple, and he doesn't think much about preaching, nor does he have much knowledge. So, but the Madhyamadikari is a preacher, devotee. He has enough knowledge to preach. And the specific qualification of a Madhyamadikari is that he distinguishes between four kinds of people. So he distinguishes between those who are devotees, those who are envious, those who are innocent, and the Lord. Yeah. So four kinds of people. So to the Lord he offers his respect, and he surrenders to the Lord. To the devotees he makes friendship. For the innocent people, he is compassionate. He tries to help them in Krishna consciousness. And for the envious, he avoids them. So it's this is the point that Srila Prabhupada is making here in this purport, that even though many people, they may not be devotees, but still they're not envious of Krishna. So they're like innocent. So those are the people we should try to preach to. Because, envious people, they might make offenses if we try to preach to them. And of course, we can't force anybody. So if people are not open to hear, then there's no use trying to force them. Better to go to somebody who's open to hear. That's okay. Anyway. Evil, yeah. Yeah, envy brings about destruction, no? Because envy, when we have envy in our heart, then we want to put others down. That's the definition of envy, right? Is that we want to make, we want to do harm to those who we think are better than us, to put them down. Yeah, so, envy does bring about evil. You can see in the pastimes of Krishna, the demons, like Shishupal, he was envious of Krishna. He couldn't tolerate that Krishna was being worshipped as the Supreme Lord and the most worshipable, respectable personality in the Rajasuri sacrifice assembly of Yudhisthira Maharaj. So when everybody was glorifying Krishna as the best personality, then Shishupal, he became very envious, and he said, how can you worship Krishna as the most respectable person? And then he started insulting him in so many ways. And the result was that, he got his head chopped off. So, the result of envy is never very good. And also it's very contaminating on our heart. It doesn't feel good to yourself even to be envious. So we should try to give up envy. And the best process is just to engage in devotional service, to hear about Krishna from the devotees, serve the devotees. Anything else? There is one point here in the purport that I didn't mention, that Prabhupada speaks about Dhruvaloka, how those who hear Bhagavad Gita attentively, with faith and without envy, then they're free from all sinful reactions, and they attain to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. So, and then Prabhupada says that this is referring to Dhruvaloka. Dhruvaloka is the pole star. It is part of the Vaikuntha planets, but it's within this universe, and it's where Lord Vishnu resides on the Milk Ocean. So when the demigods they have some troubles, they go to see Lord Vishnu here in the universe. So Krishna is so kind that he situates himself within the universe as well. So whenever the demigods they need some help, then they go to Krishna and they meet him here. So this is a Vaikuntha planet. This is the place where Dhruva resides. The pasam of Dhruva is nice because he actually approached Krishna for a kingdom greater than his grandfather, and his grandfather was Lord Brahma. So Brahma is the controller of the whole universe. So he asked for such a great benediction, but Krishna, of course, he can give any benediction. So even though he asked for basically an impossible benediction, Krishna gave him his own planet, the Vaikuntha planet, to rule. And this was special because this is eternal, and it's a spiritual planet. It's not like any material kingdom, which will get destroyed in course of time. So, the Dhruvaloka is it's very special. It's a Vaikuntha planet. So, and those who, Krishna says that, those who listen to the Bhagavad Gita with faith and without envy, they attain to this wonderful planet of Vaikuntha, Dhruvaloka. So Krishna is so kind that he makes it very easy for us to approach him. We just have to have some faith and hear without envy the Bhagavad Gita, and then we can attain to the spiritual world. Every day we put our faith in so many things, right? Without faith, we can't even live. Without faith, that the people on the road, they have their driving license. We would never drive because we have faith. When we go in our car in the road, we have faith that other people, they know how to drive, and they're not going to crash into us. And we have faith that whoever's cooking for us didn't put poison in the food. And, we have to have faith. Similarly, for spiritual life, you need a little bit of faith in the beginning. And this faith is not so hard to put, because we can see how many people have taken to this process. And we can see the effect of people like, for example, many of Srila Prabhupada's followers, when he first met them, they were hippies on the street. They were taking drugs and drinking. They had no good habits. They were dirty. Not very refined people. But then after a few years of practicing Krishna consciousness, you could see the change in them. They became so kind, so compassionate, so clean, bright-faced, full of knowledge, and dedicating their lives to serving others, to bringing about the best welfare service to humanity by spreading knowledge about Krishna, giving everybody the opportunity to perfect their lives. So, rather than before they were just selfishly trying to enjoy themselves, now they dedicated their lives to selfless service to others. So this is, by following this process, we can see the effects it has on people. So then we can put our faith in it too, that I should also try to adopt this process in my life and see and experience the effects that it has on you. as well. So with that, if nobody else has anything to add, then I think I'll close here. I hope you all take to the Bhagavad Gita. Do you all have the Bhagavad Gita? Yeah? Please read every day, a few pages. The knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is so nice for giving us practical guidance, how to make the best use of our lives. And then we can try to apply it in our life, and then we'll feel the results. Okay, thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank you for patiently listening. We'll have a Gaur Arati in a few minutes. Hare Krishna.